A wishing bowl you now become, a magic tool by moon and sun, with curving shape by light of fire, to bring to me what I desire. By coin of one this spell's begun. By coin of two the power brews. By coin of three pay heed to me. Coins be seeds to feed the power, so wishes sought will bud and flower. By light of fire you now are blessed and fertilized to manifest all wishes that come forth from me. As I will, so mote it be. Greetings. Welcome to Crown House. The spell that you just saw me demonstrate is from a book, and it's called A Magical Wishing Bowl. It is to create a magical tool that it's meant to be used for any wish that you wish to manifest. Okay, I think the object behind the spell is that you're creating a bowl that you're continually feeding. Every day you put coins in every day, and then when you wish to create a spell, another kind of spell, a particular spell, you take a coin from the bowl and you plant it in a pot, a plant, or something like that, for it to grow there in that pot and manifest. To the earth now you must go, to germinate and sprout and grow into that which I require, and manifest what I desire. It's from this book called Moon Magic by Dorothy Morrison. I forgot I had a book. I don't really use this book. It looks like it did, but I think it actually got wet somehow sometime. But I really don't use these kind of spells too much. The only use I really use the book for ever is it gave me some suggestions of some kind of magic that can be performed during certain moons or during certain phases of the moon. But that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the spell. Now that sounds really wonderful, doesn't it? That you can just create this bowl, and it's sort of like, and then you maintain the bowl. It's sort of like creating a magical sourdough starter, right? That as long as you feed that sourdough starter and feed it and take care of it, it's there for when you need it, right? So, what could be wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that? What could be wrong? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I have seen several people here on YouTube over the years. I haven't seen much recently, but over the past I've seen a few people performing this spell. And by the way, it's only these 2 pages. No other explanation at all for the spell, okay? But I wanted you to consider a few things. The first point I would like to consider is the question, is a wish the same thing as an intention? We recently celebrated one of my daughter's birthdays at a restaurant, a favorite restaurant. And of course, the custom here, at least locally in California anyway, when it's somebody's birthday, they have these elaborate single-serve desserts stacked with who knows what, very decadent looking. And they're really sized for sharing. So they bring you a dessert, and they bring you spoons, and they bring whatever, and it's one candle on the top. And that's what happened. And they brought her the dessert. And someone at our table said to her, make a wish and blow out the candle. And then they said, but remember, do not tell anybody your wish or it won't come true. Don't tell anyone your wish or it will not come true. At birthday parties even, people say make a wish and blow out the candles, and it's a silent wish. It's usually a silent wish. Do we really believe that that wish is going to come true? I don't think so. I think most reasonable people would say no, it's not going to come true. Because wishing alone is not enough to achieve your goals, right? In order to achieve your goals, even magical goals, some kind of action is required. Some kind of action. It's not just a passive, oh, I wish something would happen, and you wait for it to happen. That's not going to happen. You have to have some kind of action to go with it. The wish is important because the wish is what is the initial spark that fuels whatever intention you have. You can't make an intention out of nothing. You got to really hope and dream and wish for something. But then you must do some kind of action for it to happen. Not just the wish, not just passive. It's not a passive activity. It requires your participation. The intention is a conscious first effort towards achieving a goal, toward manifesting your wish. It's like a conscious focus that directs your wish toward the goal. But some kind of action, deliberate actions or actions are required for you to achieve any goal. This could be something like a ritual, something like a spell, something like some kind of habit, changing your habits in order for an intention to come to fruition. My second point I want to consider, and this is really a big one for me, is are we really going to believe or think or hope that a single tool like this single wishing bowl is going to be an effective tool in achieving every and all wishes that we might have in the future, as long as we keep putting those coins, in that bowl. Anytime we need something to happen, we're just going to take out a coin and plant it in the earth, say one more incantation, and Bob's your uncle, right? It's going to happen. That's really not the same thing as declaring an intention. I don't see anywhere here in the words of this that it says that it tells us to declare a particular intention when we wish to manifest something. Okay, when it just says, when you need to manifest a wish, remove one of the coins buried in the ground or the soil of the houseplant, while visualize your wish coming true and saying that final incantation. To the earth you must go, to germinate and sprout and grow into that which I require and manifest what I desire. That's it. There's no other participation on your part required, apparently. I don't want to be critical, really. But one thing that really bothers me is this spell is located in a chapter that is called, here we go, Waxing Moon Phase Efforts. It says here, all these spells in here are to be performed during a waxing moon. And a waxing moon would be the moon that comes between the new moon and the full moon, right? It does not say that anywhere in this spell. It doesn't even mention it, that you need to do it. It just says keep doing it every day, and when you need a wish, go ahead and pull out a coin. And I also want to say, to defend that, the author says in the beginning of the book that, I quote her, that nearly any magical effort can enjoy success regardless of moon phase, provided it's performed in a harmonious manner with that period. Rather than saying, I want to increase my wealth during a waxing moon phase, if the moon is waning, you might say, I want to decrease my poverty. Well, I don't know. Is that reasonable to you? It might be, and I don't want to criticize it, but in my practice, that's watered down. That's very watered down, very oversimplified, and frankly, I don't think it's very effective. So then what's the point? What's the point of this video even? Why am I even bringing it up? Well, because, these books, it's not that there's anything inherently wrong with them, I think as long as you treat these books as a stepping stone, you treat this book and these spells in it as a starting point, as something that you can spring forward and you can make it your own. It gives you an idea. Oh, might be a good idea to have that. Okay, I'm even thinking to myself that might be fine, right? I don't like the idea of make a wish and blow out the candle. Don't tell anybody. If somebody gave me a birthday candle and they said make a wish, I might speak my intention out loud and then blow out the candle. That's what a witch does, right? So we change it to make it our own, okay? So let's say, again, I want to repeat what I say a lot. We witches don't do spells every day. Do we? Do we really do spells every day? No, we think our spells through and only do the spells that we really need. And I say, when we do cast spells, it should be a doozy. It should be a doozy. It should have some power behind it. All the power you can muster using your knowledge, using your skill, using what you've learned in your craft, using all the tools at hand to create a very powerful spell. So what's what I'm going to do here? I'm going to show you, if I was going to take this and make a wishing bowl for myself and for a spell, what I might do to make it a doozy. So, what is the first thing I might do differently to make this wishing bowl spell something that I could really use? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a single intention bowl. One intention. I'm going to make this bowl, I'm going to use it for a prosperity spell. If you're going to create a spell, whether you can, you did a job, you've been interviewed for a job and you really want a good chance of getting that job, you can do a spell. That's a short-term goal. But something like a prosperity spell where you want to bring in increased wealth or increased money or something to grow, it's going to take time. It's going to take a little bit longer than you might think. There's really no beginning and end to it unless you choose to end it. So a single intention and a prosperity spell. I'm going to do, like the book sort of implied, that I'm going to do it during the waxing phase of the moon, from the new moon to the full moon. Okay, so when I do this spell, it's going to only happen until I'm going to begin it at the full moon, and then I will do it every day, add coins to the bowl until the full moon. Then I'm going to stop. I'm going to give it a rest. Give it a rest? Well, yes, I'm going to give it a rest because I don't want the waning moon. If I'm going to use the moon, I want to use the waxing moon. I want to use the moon that is increasing as the moon increases in visibility. I don't want it when it starts to diminish. I don't want anything diminishing. I don't want to change my intention to go, well, you know how yesterday I asked you to, my intention was to increase my wealth. Today, I want to decrease my poverty. I just think that's confusing to me. Okay, but what am I going to do about the energy that is held? How can I hold the energy that I have created from new moon to full moon to last until the next new moon cycle begins? I'm going to use water. Water is a very effective tool on its own. A lot of people do water spells, which are very, very effective. And look at me, a triple cancer. I am waterier than you can get. I am drowned in my own water. So I love water. And you have seen me so many times collecting rainwater in the winter here, because water is so precious to us here in California, where it is normally very dry. We don't get rain most of the year. So we do collect rainwater, and I use that in spells all the time. But what I'm going to do this time is I have taken my collection water and I have charged this water under the new moon energy to make this truly new moon water. Once it's discharged, I brought it in. I have it in here now. So during the time, the phase, when the moon, after the full moon, when the moon begins to wane, I'm going to store my intention in this water. How am I going to do it? I'm going to speak my intention into the water. When I speak into the water, I will say something like, I am devoted to cultivating a mindset of abundance and attracting prosperity into my life. I'm being general here because this is a public forum and it's really nobody's business what my personal intention is, even though I'm going to speak it out loud. But it has to do with bringing that abundance into my life. Cultivating that, attracting that prosperity into my life through actions, right? Through actions, habits, different things that we talked about before. Then we're going to store that intention in this water. It is sort of the same as taking your sourdough starter, which you've been feeding every day, whatever you've been doing with it, and you have to go on vacation and you can't attend to your sourdough starter, so you put it in the refrigerator, you give it a little time out. That's what we're doing with our intentions for our prosperity spell. I'm going to give it a little bit of time, and I'm going to keep it safe in my jar of new moon charged rainwater. Then, when I want to put it back into the wishing bowl, I'm going to use the rosemary, a sprig of the rosemary that was out there under the same energy as this water, and I'm going to sprinkle that on my coins in the bowl. When I bring it out and I use the rosemary to sprinkle it on the stones, I'm putting that intention, the energy that was stored in here, back into my wishing bowl, and I begin again. The sourdough comes out of the fridge and we start feeding again so we can use it. The same principle. Now this way, you can keep going and going and going on this. Different moon cycles, you can keep it going. Depends on how long you need it. When you don't need it anymore, you don't have to. A few more additions that I'm going to use in my spell, my prosperity spell, for my wishing bowl tool for prosperity, is no white candle. I'm gonna use green. Green is the color that represents prosperity, wealth. I use candle magic all the time, and I love using different colored candles for different colored things. And then I say, the candles love to be dressed. They don't want to be naked. A naked candle, oh yeah, I'm naked. I always dress my candles in certain ways. I always do something to enhance it. So first thing I do is oil the candle. And I have a lot of choices of oil that I can use for the candle. And I chose to use black cat oil. Why? Why would I choose it? Well, I looked in my book of shadows. Hope you're making one. If you don't have one. I have different kind of oils to choose from. I have quite a few. Come to Me, Road Opener, Uncrossing. I can use just a regular charging oil, anything that you would normally use to charge your candles when you're doing spells, if you usually oil your candles. One of the reasons we oil the candle, which is lovely, and they love to be caressed, is so that you can dress it. You can apply herbs to it, or spices, whatever you want, incense blends, whatever you want on the candle. I think I'm going to be using cinnamon on my candle. I really like the effect of cinnamon. It really heats up a spell. But I'm going to use this black cat oil because one thing it does a couple things. It's usually used to reverse bad luck and to ward off evil. I don't care about that. But one thing my Book of Shadow tells me is when used on green candles, it can attract money and prosperity. It can attract money and prosperity. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to dress my candle. The other thing I love about it is, one thing it has in here, it has a lot of ingredients, but one thing it has in there is citrine. Citrine, and I have a lot of citrine. And I use citrine a lot with my candle spells because it's called, I think you know what it is. It's a yellow colored, golden colored stone. It depends on, how old it is, where you got it from. It's really good for attracting wealth, prosperity, and abundance. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to be using that. And my black cat oil does have citrine in it because of the vibrational energy. It has very strong vibrational energy. And it is very good to manifest dreams and to manifest goals, whatever kind they are, good or bad. So I'm going to be using this black cat oil. I'm going to speak my intention, but I'm also going to write it. You can write it on a piece of paper and leave it under the bowl if you wish. I love to burn things. I love to burn things, and I love to burn bay leaf. I love to use bay leaves in prosperity spells because bay leaves are widely used in manifestation rituals to attract prosperity, abundance, wealth, which is what we're all about. Um, we're going to write an intention on the leaf. We can either place it under the bowl or we can burn it. I'm going to make up my mind about that. I might place it under the bowl until time for me to store my energy, and then I might burn that and then write it my intention again on a new one. I have a tree. This is not the tree, but this is off the tree. It's I have a tree, so I have a good supply of bay leaves. But you can get them readily at the store. You can do what you want to do. Okay. You can also crumble up the dry bay leaf and use that on your candle if you want to do that. If you want to do something like that, make it your own. Make it your own. I hope this was helpful. I want to make the point that wishing is not the same thing as an intention. There's nothing wrong with a wish. A wish is the initial spark that fuels, that sets the fire to the intention, to fuel it to manifest. You need to be sure to speak clearly your intention or write clearly your intention, not just think it. That's, if you only get that from this video, I hope you get that part. Now, you can add some other things. You can add incense. Of course, you spell. The smoke from the incense helps carry the intention, which normally you see me using incense. Since I had the cinnamon on the candle, I didn't need to use that. I didn't feel like I needed to. But, you know, we're going to repeat the spell as needed. So maybe the next time I started the spell, or the next new moon cycle begins, I might add incense. I might take away or add other kind of gemstones. I might, you know, there's a lot of things. I might use paper to write my intention rather than bay leaf. There's a lot of different things you can do. You don't have to do the same thing over and over again. And that's a shortcoming to spells that you get right from the book. There, you know, she's got, I don't know, hundreds of spells in that book. Several hundred probably, I don't know. And she can't go into detail. That's understandable about everything you could possibly do. I want you to feel confidence in doing what feels right to you. Be brave enough to change the course of your spell if it's not working. If you don't feel anything is working from it, change it up a little bit. Remember, it is not a question of if a spell works or not, but a question of when it works. You do it a long enough time, you're going to see results. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rebecca, and I wish you blessings.